I just wanted to know, did you actually get down on your knees and pray and ask for revelation from God? Because I don't think that many atheists have actually done that.
Yes.
Matt has, yeah.
So I walked down the aisle at about the age of 5 and accepted Jesus into my heart. I was a Southern Baptist for 20 to 25 years or so. Everybody thought I was going to be a preacher. I rededicated my life on numerous occasions as a teenager. And yes, during the year-and-a-half period of intense prayer and study where I was just trying to fulfill my obligation under 1 Peter 3:15, I was on my knees regularly asking God to reveal himself.
And you were sincere about that?
Yes. Can I prove that to you? No, which is probably why you'll blow it off. But,
what about the other hosts on the show? I really doubt that they've ever actually gotten down on their knees.
What difference? I'm going to let John answer, but I'm curious. What difference does it make?
Why do you think that it makes a difference?
Well, you got an answer from one atheist saying that, yes, they've done this. Isn't one enough?
Well, if you're not asking sincerely for revelation, it seems that you haven't made a good faith effort.
How are you going to determine whether or not I made a good, sincere effort?
I think most atheists would actually admit that they've never actually gotten down on their knees and asked for revelation.
Well, you're wrong. Well, all right, I won't say you're wrong. I know plenty who have, but all of that's irrelevant. I just told you, and now I'm asking you, how would you determine whether or not I actually did it sincere with an open heart and submission?
I just have to take your word for it.
Okay. Are you willing to take my word for it?
In your case, I think so, because you've said many times that you're a sincere Christian for many, many years.
Okay,
but
so if you're,
I would say 99%.
I don't care about 99%. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. If you're willing to take my word for it, do you believe that God will reveal himself to anyone who sincerely asks?
That's a good question.
I know.
You just need one counterexample to disprove that.
Because if your answer is yes, and you're willing to take my word for it, you now have a view that is countermanded by what you're willing to accept. And if your answer is no, then the entire discussion is irrelevant as to whether or not I did it or whether or not John ever has. Right?
Yeah.
So
you're an unusual atheist. I think
which contradiction are you going to go with?
Well, I'm not fully sure about that, but I would say that you're an unusual atheist because I've never actually encountered another atheist in my entire life.
Okay, how many atheists
down on their knees?
What percentage of atheists have you encountered in your life? What percentage of the entire atheist population have you personally encountered?
Well, I mean, just people in the public sphere.
Hang on, there's 25 people on the other side. Anybody on the other side actually done that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hands went up out of maybe 16 to 20 people. Maybe you just haven't met enough atheists, and maybe you haven't thought through this issue of whether or not people are sincerely requesting repentance. And I'd also recommend that you look into the Clergy Project, which is full of ministers who would almost all of them, especially of Christian ministers, would say that they've done it and done it repeatedly. The Clergy Project has over 600 current and former pastors who have preached this stuff and worked in the ministry for their lives who now are non-believers. Maybe your sample set of atheists that you think you've encountered is simply not big enough, and maybe your exploration into this subject is already tainted because you can't even figure out which of the two contradictory positions you'd like to hold. So maybe give up both of them.
When was the last time you got down on your knees and sincerely opened your heart to God?
So first of all, I'm pretty sure that, and I may be wrong, but I can't see the chat room. They're probably screaming that I should recognize your voice at this point because it sounds very familiar. And if we've already acknowledged that you're willing to accept that I did, then the last time I got on my knees is irrelevant, as is irrelevant whether or not John ever has. And now you can get on your knees and kiss my ass. I don't want to end on that note.
No, I've never gotten on my knees and
Yes.
and asked God for anything because I've never believed in a God. So that to me would be silly.
Yeah.
It's people who are raised as God believers who do that because they're looking for some kind of confirmation when they're having doubts, and that doesn't apply to me. So for you to suggest that maybe I should try that and maybe I'll see things differently, to me it would be a silly kind of a charade.
Wouldn't it be impossible for you to sincerely ask a God you don't believe in to reveal himself to you?
Right, it wouldn't be sincere.
Yeah.
And what he was trying to get at is that, well, if you're sincere about it, then you wouldn't be an atheist. So you must not have been sincere. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy there.
It's also incredibly biased towards his particular notion of Christianity, because atheist just means you don't believe in God. It's not a declaration that we've determined that there is no God or that the Christian God is false in it.
Right.
How many of you atheists have actually hit your knees and asked for God to reveal himself to you? What difference does that make? Let's say that we all did it and we all became convinced. How do we know that we're right? Everybody who's hit their knees and asked for God to reveal himself, how did you determine that God actually revealed himself and that you didn't just convince yourself that God revealed himself? And that's probably what I should have asked was, when you hit your knees and asked God to reveal himself to you, how did he do it? What was it that was so compelling? And why, thank you, why the hell do you have to be on your knees? Oh, it's to show submission, that's right. Because you need to genuflect, you need to get down, you need to be... Doesn't that mean you're already in a mindset that is primed to be controlled? Why does God need anybody on their knees? Why does God need anybody to ask for a revelation? Saul didn't ask for a revelation on the road to Damascus. According to the Bible, God just showed up and did it. If it's good enough for Saul, why isn't it good enough for the rest of us? But quite frankly, I don't think that was anything more than, it may have been a prank call, it may have been just some obnoxious thing that I hear over and over again. I did it, John didn't. Now you've got to figure out whether or not your view of God revealing himself to everybody is wrong, or if I'm wrong, or if maybe you're wrong about all of it.